What did it do to you to become, shall I say, the one of the least important persons? You know, the one who. What did that do to you to your ego of no longer being the guy who knew everything?
Yeah, so that's interesting. The book I'm working on right now is about ego.
Hmm.
It's about ego defense.
And why is it about ego?
Because I think people don't understand what ego does to them and how it hurts them. Or maybe they understand how it hurts them. It prevents them from learning. It prevents them from admitting they don't know. It prevents them from being vulnerable. It prevents them from forgiving. It hurts relationships, and ultimately it hurts your happiness. And the way I thought about it, there's two things here. Number one is my dream job was to be a submarine commander. I didn't care about anything after that. So I wasn't trying to prove anything to anybody. I just wanted to be the best submarine commander that I could be. My focus was on the people and our mission. So I call it care, don't care. Care deeply and passionately about the people and the mission, but don't care about how I present to my boss. Or am I looking good? I don't deliberately sabotage that, but that's just not, it wasn't a thing that caused me to do anything one way or the other. It was irrelevant. And the second thing is, up to this point, I always felt like in American football, we have a quarterback who's sort of the head of the team, looks at the defense, calls plays, or sometimes the coach sends the play in, but the quarterback is the one who's doing the call. But the quarterback also gets sacked, gets hit, and I always viewed myself as I'm the quarterback for my life. I call the plays. I say, okay, now I'm going to be funny, or now I'm going to go to a party, or now I'm going to get this job, or now I'm going to interact with this person. So I would decide, I would deploy my players, which were my knowledge, skills, and abilities to make things happen in the world. The problem is when the quarterback gets sacked, this is when your ego comes up, because your ego wants to get back at that person. Your ego is stuck in the past. And then I would say, what would the coach say? The coach doesn't care about that. The coach didn't get hit. Coach looks out on the field and says, oh, David took a beating there. But the coach then very immediately says, what are we going to do with the next 8 minutes of the game? Mm-hmm. Because the coach is not stuck in the past. The coach is looking to the future. And so now I think, there are moments when you want to be the quarterback. You want to be in the moment. You're riding a cycling race and you're riding 20, 25 miles an hour, 2 inches behind the wheel of the person in front of you. You need to be paying attention. But for a lot of things, when you feel, oh, well, I'm worried about my boss saying this, or I'm worried about people will think I'm not smart, or any of those sort of social things, I find it better to think of yourself as the coach. And I would say, what would the coach do? And I would say, what would the coach want David to do now? And I'd be talking about myself in third person like that, to myself. What's the coach going to tell me now? And the coach is going to say, get over it. Focus on the future. The future is what matters. This happened. Do they mean to do it? I don't know. But what difference does it make? Mm-hmm. Like, don't, oh, you diss me, I'm going to get back. And don't, like, that's your ego, which is your ego is the immune system for yourself. It is not you. It is simply an immune system, which is supposed to identify threats and then muster defenses against them. But the problem is your ego was designed to identify threats running around the plains of Africa where there were real threats like lions and things that were going to run you over and eat you. So the ego tends to identify threats that aren't really there. You ever walk up to people are talking, you kind of walk up and they just sort of stop talking and look at you. They're like, oh man, they were talking bad about me. Like, yeah, maybe not. But your ego said, no, they were talking bad about me. And then, so it magnifies the threats that it sees, and it sees threats that aren't really there. And so you're in charge. The coach will say, yeah, don't worry about it, move on.